When was the last time you took a leap of faith, trusting that everything is going to work out? Do you crave growth, or are you merely content with the status quo? If you want more out of your life, out of your career, and out of your relationships, you are in the right place. Take the leap and discover how to create a life by design rather than living it by default. Real success starts with you. Now here's your host, Colleen Biggs.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Take the Leap. I am your host, Colleen Biggs, and one of the major pieces of my success was bringing on a team to work with me. And it was a hard decision to make because I was doing everything in my business. I knew everything in my business because I created everything in my business. So bringing someone on was really scary. I didn't know exactly what I was going to hand off. So today I want you to stay with us because we're going to dive into how you really get to do what you do best and outsource the rest. And I've got an amazing company on the phone with us today and on video with us if you're on Facebook. And it's Mel Carr, and she runs Cloversy, which is a company that has just exploded. And she empowers so many business owners to be able to scale, accelerate, and dominate in their industries for doing all the outsourcing that needs to happen. So before we get to Mel and introduce her, I would like to thank today's sponsor, which is No Problem Parenting. Are you frustrated with your kids? Do you constantly worry about them? Or maybe you're just sick and tired of dealing with misbehaviors in your home. Well, have no fear because No Problem Parenting is here to help you turn any emotion or behavioral problem into a no problem while strengthening your relationship with your kids at the same time. You don't have to be the bad guy to get your kids to behave. Join the No Problem Parenting community where you will find down-to-earth, practical, fun, no-nonsense ideas for how to deal with and overcome any parenting challenge. Go to noproblem.parenting.com and get started now. Become the confident leader your kids crave you to be. So we want to thank Jackie Finneman for being our sponsor today. And she is what I would call the child whisperer. Like people call Cesar the dog whisperer. She is the child whisperer. She's been in this industry for over 35 years. There isn't anything she doesn't know about behavioral problems for children. So make sure you reach out to her at noproblem.parenting.com. Her podcast was also just released in the top 10% worldwide. So you want to check out the No Problem Parenting podcast as well. So, all right, here we go. We get to talk to Mel Carr now, who is the founder of Cloversy, a team of highly skilled and trustworthy executive virtual assistants and a US-based call center for your successful business owner and professional. As an entrepreneur, Mel knows the importance of delegation and has built her company on the premise that you can have it all: success in your business and time to enjoy life outside of work. Mel is also launching a book this year, Six Figure Chicks, which I get to participate in, which I'm excited about. So Mel Carr, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. It's been, a hot minute since we've been on the same screen together.
Yeah, it has been. Mel and I have worked very closely for a lot of years. I met Mel right after the pandemic hit. So, when the pandemic hit, and I remember texting her saying, hey, can we push our call just a few minutes because the president's going to address everyone? And that was kind of when everything was up in the air and no one knew what was going on. Can we go outside of our houses? Can we, our businesses shut down? Or are they open? And she had just, launched her business and was working in her business. And when we met, she immediately jumped into the community, our LEAP community. And I was like, you know what? I really need an executive assistant. But at the time, I wasn't prepared to hire on a full-time employee to work with me. And I think a lot of, solopreneurs are at that crossroad, Mel. Do you find that a lot?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Even for myself, I have a business with a team of fantastic females, and I still find it difficult at times to take that leap and, say, okay, let's take just a few minutes and train on this so I can delegate it away. and not have to wear all the hats in the business.
Yeah.
That's what I preach. So I need to practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's definitely taken some time, but now that I have released some of those tasks that I just don't have time for, like it's just freed me up to go out and get more clients, grow the business so I can have more work opportunities to give to my team.
Yeah.
It's so, I'm so fortunate that I can, do both. I can support successful entrepreneurs and I can support and empower women to do the same and,
that's great.
Work for themselves.
Yeah. Well, I love that. You're right along the line with the philosophy of what I have and some empowering women to build success for themselves, to inspire. You're inspiring change in others, and then they get to do that as well and build their success and leave a legacy behind, for the changes that they make. And so let's go back, to 2020 when the pandemic hit, and it was like your best year, and it's interesting because people are like, oh, the pandemic was awful. And there were a lot of things about the pandemic that were terrible. And the number one thing were the amount of deaths, of people and businesses that did close that were brick and mortars. But there were so many great things that came out of the pandemic. And, my business was exploding and I realized that I needed help, but I didn't know what to do. And I think a lot of solopreneurs, I'm talking to you, yes, listener, who is saying, oh yeah, I do it all myself. And there's two pieces here. The first one is, can I afford to hire someone to do the outsourcing for me? And what would I give them? How it's going to take me more time. I hear this all the time, to train somebody to do it rather than just do it myself. That is a closed mindset thought. That is not a scaling type of mindset at all. And the investment that you have in another person to do it for you, you're able to get back tenfold, because the only way you can scale your business is to multiply your time. So Mel, do you hear this a lot when you're talking to people like, I'm so busy, and you're like, okay, great. My team can help you at, 10 hours a week. And they're like, no, I can't afford it. Or I don't know how to give you 10 hours a week. And you're like, what?
Yeah, I get it all the time. And it's usually, when I'm just talking to somebody about the company and fellow entrepreneurs, and I'm like, so what do you do? How do you support yourself? How do you invest in your business? And they're like, well, I do it all myself. I'm just not sure what I would give away. Or I've gotten a lot of feedback that, yeah, I've hired a VA in the past and they just didn't work out. They just didn't get me. They didn't understand my voice, my brand. And it's that easy as just taking a few moments and thinking about what you do on a day-to-day basis, and then saying, okay, what do you not like doing? What do you find yourself not having enough time to do? What do you keep pushing to the next day on your calendar? Yeah, because something is taking that time. I was speaking to a lady just at the beginning of the week, and I'm like, how can my team help you? Because we have an agreement. And she's like, oh, I just don't know what to give. I just don't know what to, hand off. That night, she sent me a message with a list. She's like, oh my God, it just all came to me.
Yeah. As business owners, you are in the marketing and sales. That's who we are. Every single business owner, you have to market yourself and sell your products and services, period. And you, as being the patriarch and the one that's running the business, the CEO of the business, you're responsible for the vision. You're responsible for where the company goes. You're responsible for getting out there and selling the products and services for people to enroll. That is not what your admin staff does. So many people think, oh, well, I'm so busy. I hear this all the time. I'm so busy. And then I ask them how much money they make, and it's not lining up with how busy they are. And I don't know anyone that would take a 40-hour job with zero benefits and say, and we're not going to pay you anything. Nobody. Right. Not one person would. Yet this just bogs my mind. An entrepreneur is willing to work more than that and be paid nothing. And I wouldn't even do it. I mean, the way I set up my business was when sales came in, I set up profit right away. So the profit of the business goes straight in to support my lifestyle. And that's how I run my business. And when I work with women that have been running these businesses and they haven't taken profit or anything from the business in 2 years, I don't even know what's keeping them going. So it is a proven fact that you must multiply yourself. And then when you multiply the time of yourself and give away the things that aren't making you money, that aren't directly selling or marketing your company, those are the things that, like Mel said, one of her staff members and her team can use your voice to do those things. People tell me all the time, like, you have the best, posts on social media and I see you everywhere. And I'm like, well, you see me everywhere because my team is really good at making sure I am everywhere, but it's not me. It's not me sitting there on social media, creating the content. And I used to work with Mel. She was the main person I worked with. And then, of course, her business exploded. And then I worked with one of her team members. And that's the way it should be. Do you see how she was doing the work herself in the beginning. And then she backed off and brought in other women to work with her to be able to multiply her time, or she would have been stuck at a finite amount of time per day and a finite amount of clients.
Exactly. And I want to touch upon, I really liked how you said in the beginning is like, dive into something. Like that's what we do every day. We dive into our clients' work because we're investing in their business. We're investing in your business. We want you to scale and grow. Mm-hmm. So that's what we do is we take the time to investigate your brand, your company, what you stand for. We ask questions, we're not just going to sign you up and say, you're on your way. We're going to post some things online and we're going to stick your name to it because, who wants that? If you want a supportive network in every area, your business, your personal life. And that's what we do. We support entrepreneurs. We want our clients to feel supported and empowered to do more, to build their business. And sometimes that takes extra training. We're not perfect. I heard the greatest little line from a podcast yesterday, kind of ties into the book that we're launching, but imposter syndrome. And that's what a lot of us have. And that's what can hold us back sometimes from reaching those goals or scaling our business. But it's like feeling like an outsider. But when you're meant to do something, there's no imposter syndrome. There's no barrier holding you back.
Yeah.
Just accept it. You're not perfect and we're not perfect, but we love supporting and empowering our clients to do more.
Let's talk about empowering them to do more. So I'll share my personal story. When I met Mel and brought her on as my support team, at the time, I was working about 50 to 60 hours a week just in my community. That's all I could handle was all the events, everything I was doing in my community. And it was driving income and I kept increasing it every single month. And I was at the point where I knew I could afford to hire someone. But again, I didn't know what to hand off. It was by not having a support staff, it was holding me back from being able to launch my business coaching side, which I had been doing for 20 years in corporate America. And then when I became an entrepreneur, I dove into this community to support other female entrepreneurs, but I wasn't able to launch my own coaching side because I didn't have any more hours left and I didn't have any more time left. I didn't have any more effort left. And so I was leaving all this money on the table. When I brought Mel on, and we started, when you came on, there was a training curve. So I spent probably a month in working with Mel and, doing videos and saying, this is how you do this. And let me work you through this. And just doing, constant getting online with her and showing her how the things work on the back end. And then once she was like, okay, I've got this, let me take these two things on, then we'll work on these other things. And I just was like, I felt so free. Like, I just felt like, what am I going to do with this extra 10 hours I have this week, And then it kept increasing the hours of what you were doing and how much more freedom I had. That when I launched my business, coaching business within 3 months of you being able to take over from me for me to really do what it was that I wanted to do as an entrepreneur. You know, the community is great, but, you know, it wasn't totally fulfilling and creating that larger impact that I was looking to create. So when I was able to spend the time to launch my business, it became a 6-figure business just in a few months. And I'm saying that to all of you that are listening because you are holding yourself back if you are doing everything. And even if you get to the point where you're like, I only have an extra $1,000 a month to spend, or that's even a stretch, you know, or whatever it may be, you need to get a VA. Like you need to have these services for somebody to support you because you will be able to double, triple, quadruple that amount of money every single month. And I know that's Mel's and her team's goal is to take those things off your plate so you can do everything that you do best out there. So don't add more admin tasks to your plate when you hand them off, right? Yeah. Don't do that.
Yeah, no, because I mean, it should be like that huge weight is lifted off your shoulder. And so you're like, aha. I have found a way. That's our vision, is to create a community of successful entrepreneurs who are supported by a team, my team, somebody else's team of experts dedicated to helping you reach your full potential.
Yeah,
it can be scary sometimes, but it's not when you have a network of, you know, like-minded people. And it's the same with Leap. We're all in it together to help each other succeed.
Yeah. So let's talk about your call center, because that's something new that you've added within the last year to your plethora of obviously areas of expertise that you and your team have. So talk to us about a call center and who would be qualified for that? Who would need a call center?
Yeah, well, it was funny. You know, I'm a part of BNI, their global networking referral network, and a couple of BNI members came to me and they said that this is the pain point, the gap problem that we have right now. And I said, well, you know, we kind of do one-off customer calls. We're not a call center though. And I thought about it and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm tired of calling large companies and getting somebody from overseas that I can't understand. Like, where's the gap? Mm-hmm. Well, what can I do to fix that? You know, I have a team of women that, you know, speak well on behalf of our clients. They know their vision. And I'm like, let's do this. So I did my research. I found programs to use. I wanted to be able to like, yes, let's reach more people. Let's give more work opportunities away. You know, I've grown my company to where we can offer those services. And they're meant for like right now we're starting off with solo entrepreneurs, like the service home-based businesses, like the plumbers, the electricians, those people that are working out in the field that don't have time to get their calls or they're missing calls. And that is throwing away money.
Yeah.
So we're there to pick up those phone calls and be like the person in an office. Yeah. But that company doesn't have to pay for a full-time person.
That's great. Yeah. So I know the call center is another brilliant idea for you to be able to add to the Cloversy team. And you're launching a book, 6-Figure Chick. So tell me the inspiration behind that book and what we can be expecting from it. If you're, I don't know if you're still looking for authors or if you've closed it out already. Just give us an idea of what to expect from that book that you have coming out.
Yeah, well, it all came from, you know, my first year in business, how I reached the 6-figure, you know, revenue. Thanks in part to you as my awesome business coach. You, you know, paved the pathway for my greatness. And so myself, along with you and some other fantastic females that have reached that 6-figure revenue stream has, like, we have tons of stories to share, our success stories, our lessons learned. Like I said, the imposter syndrome, like those roadblocks that can keep other people, other women from reaching that goal. Yeah. It's not about the money or the figures. It's like, I reached 6 figures. Oh my gosh, pat on the back. You know, that wasn't even a goal of mine. My goal was to have a successful business. Yeah. And this was just a big cherry on top. And I want to celebrate us.
It seems to be a pinnacle point for women to break that figure to six figure, and most of them are striving for that when they're in the launch phase or the scaling phase. Launching, they're just trying to get, money in the door to pay some, bills and pay their expenses and those types of things. So they're not in the negative every month. But then when they're scaling, that is really when, they're able to reach that six figures. And if you are in the scaling phase, I have a group that I put together and I coach women, just like Mel said, on not only launching, but scaling their businesses. And in the scale phase, that's when you need a company like Mel's. That's when we start outsourcing. That's when you're able to put your time into things that are moving the needle. That's when you're able to break that six figures. So in this book, I know many of the authors, Katrina Sawa, Jen Duplessis, Mel Carr, myself, Carrie Connolly, whom else am I missing? Julie Jones. There's a lot of women in this book that are going to share their wisdom of how to break that six-figure mark, and then continue to grow. So they're going to be giving their opinions, telling you what they did. So this kind of becomes a playbook of how do I go from 5 to 6 figures. And now that we're talking about it, Mel, this will probably be a book that I give to my clients that are in that scaling coaching program, because I want them to be able to utilize the book because all the women that are in the book are fabulous. They've done it through network marketing. They've done it through, their history of mortgage lending. And then now they teach mortgage lenders, they retired and then teach. So there's so many ways that you can break the barrier and go to six figures. You just have to have the goals laid out, and it is a pinnacle. And for women that want to get there, this is going to be that playbook on how you do it. And you get to meet some fabulous ladies. And it's like a workbook. It's inspiring, motivating, but also tools of exactly what you need to do to get to that point, to get the visibility that you need to get your brand there. So, Mel, tell every one of our listeners, how do they reach you? How can they reach out to you? How can they connect with you? I know you have a lot of places that people can connect with you. So what are the best places to do that?
Best places is to go on to any of the major social platforms. We have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. It's melc_business. Of course, email at melc@Cloversy. Visit my website, cloversy.com. So it's Clover with an SY.com.
Oh, I love that. And you can go to cloversy.com. We have all the links there at your fingertips, as well as in the description on Facebook. So if you want to see who Mel is, just go to my Facebook page, Colleen Biggs, and you can go see Mel out there. Or if you're in our community, Leap for Ladies, you can go check out the video in our closed group, Leap for Ladies. If you're a female entrepreneur and you want to meet some other fabulous female entrepreneurs, we highly recommend that you go to our Facebook group, Leap for Ladies. That's LEAP for Ladies, FOR, for Ladies, and go check out that group. You can promote in there, you can market in there, because I don't believe in the no solicitation rule, because we should be able to share what it is that we do and give the opportunity to anyone that they might want to attend an event or hire you or whatever it may be, right? I'm not about competition. I'm all about collaboration. And Mel, it was really wonderful having you on our show today. And for, you guys watch out for Six Figure Chicks. Make sure you're following her. If you want to become an author, you can go to cloversy.com/become an author. So that's available to you to be able to be an author in the book. If you're a six-figure chick and you're like, I'm going to tell people exactly how I can do it. And this is another way to promote yourself for visibility. So we highly recommend that you look at doing that. And Mel, you've been wonderful on the show today. Thank you for your support that you've offered me throughout the years. Your team is fabulous. I really enjoy working with them. I especially love working with Ashley Ball, one of your employees. She's fabulous. She's just the sweetest person ever. I love that she gets to learn from teams that I work with and increase her education. And I get to teach her and she gets to teach me. And there's so much collaboration there. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
And ladies, I just want to remind you, you're the only you that's ever been. You're the only you that's ever going to be. No one is going to do business like you. No one. So how are you going to scale your business if you have a finite amount of time every day and a finite amount of clients or services or products that you can sell with that time? You must multiply your efforts in multiplying your time. And the only way to do that is to outsource the things that can be outsourced so that you can get out there and do what you do best. So I want to thank Mel for being with us. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful rest of your week. And until next time, be you and be strong. We'll see you then. Bye-bye for now.
We hope you enjoyed our show today, as our guests shared their secrets on designing their life by taking the necessary leaps to expand their influence and attract the right people and clients into their lives. To start these easy steps for yourself, be sure to visit www.colleenbiggs.net/freebies to download the 7 ways to increase your exposure today.